This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
First ever gold bullion policy launched. ICAC carries out awareness to departmental heads. And Mount Hagen launched city laws and boost police force yesterday. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Following months of rigorous discussions and consultations and the finalization and submission to the National Executive Council for endorsement, the first ever gold bullion policy was launched late yesterday evening at the Stanley Hotel with much pomp and ceremony.
The Gold Bullion Policy is an initiative of the Marape government to ensure non-renewable and renewable resources are properly harnessed to increase revenue streams to support our national budget and to grow our rural economy and improve the quality of life for our people. Acting Minister for Commerce and Industry, Saroy Eoy, was proud of the efforts of the department and spoke about the policy and what it is intended to do.
The implementation of national policy, Gold Bullion Policy, will attract various stakeholders and industries in processing our gold and other precious mineral resources onshore. The gold bullion is in the form of bars, ingots, or coins, will be held as reserves by central bank or associate institutions to provide financial cover during the times of geopolitical and microeconomic uncertainties.
According to Prime Minister James Marape, this policy will industrialize and downstream process natural resources, including gold, oil, gas and agriculture.
This policy complements our government's vision for us to fully industrialize our economy in as much as possible, adding value to economy by going into the space of downstream processing in all sectors: forestry, fisheries, agriculture, oil and gas, minerals, including gold. And today's launch of National Gold Bullion Policy is a step in the right direction.
The policy will also ensure accountability of our gold and other precious metals.
Having a policy that embraces the way in which we harvest our gold, the way in which we process our gold, the way in which we transport our gold, the way in which we account for our gold is very important. And we hoped that this policy encapsulates everything.
Following the formal speeches, the Gold Bullion Policy was escorted by the Hanuabara dance group and carried by 2 school students, signifying the policy's intent to create wealth for the next generation, the children of PNG. The challenge for the Marape government now requires a vibrant and competitive national gold bullion program to support its macroeconomic and fiscal policy functions, which will grow and sustain the PNG economy and ultimately create wealth for the nation. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC, held an awareness yesterday at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby, educating heads of departments and their agencies on their roles and responsibilities. ICAC is an organization established to fight corruption in the country.
So you for joining the ICAC team this morning.
Speaking to the heads of departments and agencies were Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC Interim Chairman Thomas Elu, and the Chief Secretary Ivan Pomalio. Chief Secretary Pomalio says corruption is deeply rooted in the society. Therefore, ICAC was established to help prevent and fight against corruption in the country.
The Global Corruption Perception Index of 2022 scored PNG 30 out of 100. So the lower the number, the more corrupt we are. The effect of corruption is evident in our society. It is affecting development in all aspects. It discourages foreign investments, thereby limiting opportunities for affordable services, opportunities for more employment. It reduces local business opportunities to flourish and increases uncertainty for ongoing and businesses that are running. It undermines the rule of law, weakens the institutional foundations of both the government and the private sector.
Mr. Pomaliu further states the anti-corruption strategies of ICAC.
Ethical leadership and setting the tone at the top are the foundational prerequisites for preventing and combating corruption at all levels. That is the reason why the fight against corruption must start with us, the leaders, and within our respective departments and agencies.
In order to better understand the roles and responsibilities of ICAC in preventing corruption, the heads of departments and agencies were educated to take lead in their organization. Interim ICAC Chairman Thomas Elu explained the functions of ICAC.
The purpose of the Commission is to contribute once again in cooperation with other agencies to prevent, reduce and combat corrupt conduct. The function 220D of the Constitution, the ICAC performs its functions through its 4 pillars. An ICAC investigator has the same power as that of the police officer that can be able to make arrests, who can issue summonses for information, powers to obtain warrants, search, arrest, interception warrants.
Mr. Elu further added that ICAC is not taking away powers of Ombudsman Commission and the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, but complements their roles and responsibilities by concentrating on very serious systematic corruption in the country. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Residents of Mount Hagen and Western Highlands Province have been warned to abide by the Mount Hagen City Authority laws when in the provincial capital. The launching of the city laws at Queen's Park yesterday coincided with a major boost to the Western Highlands Provincial Police.
Western Highlands Police had reasons to celebrate in style yesterday as political leaders, business houses representatives, and the general public witnessed a historical moment for the province. Members of parliaments from all districts of Western Highlands Province, along with delegates and invited guests, arrived at the venue moments before the guests of honor arrived. Governor Wairapa, Hagen Member of Parliament William Duma, and Assistant Police Commissioner Highlands Eastern End Riga Negi, who stood in for Commissioner David Menning, were given a guard of honor before the launching and presentation of the 45 sets of laws for Mount Hagen City.
Before we present him on rules development, Governor Yimi and first Governor Yimi province, the long-serving Deputy Governor, with your cooperation and support, me confident of these laws by me enforcing, together with the help of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, we will make an example out of it for the country to see.
Governor Wairapa also presented keys to 2 police vehicles, adding that some were still on the way. A 1.7 million kina check was also presented to Ella Motors for 17 new police vehicles. Meanwhile, business houses in Mount Hagen have shown their full support in the efforts by the city authority to improve the 3rd largest city in the country. Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi said Telecom B-Mobile has also come on board in providing and launching a toll-free number for the people of Western Highlands to access police assistance in an emergency without a charge.
But today we would like to talk about, suppose you only phone staff, you dial this number, and we can go through the police office or operations where all practices the number now can answer in. This is the toll-free number 1-800-102. And walk 100%. Anywhere you got mobile phone and you call it, and by still for police practices.
The police toll-free number for Telecom B Mobile is 1-800-102 and for Digicel is 2222. Meanwhile, Governor Wairapa likened the law as a Bible for those in Mount Hagen City.
Namika, no privilege now. No give him this law now. No Anglo police, no law enforcing agency. Want them police car, some resource, some help him long enforce him. This law Bible.
People are being advised that awareness on the new laws have been carried out already and lawbreakers will now start facing consequences. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Prime Minister James Marape has announced that he will take care of the Foreign Affairs Ministry in the interim until a suitable replacement is found to take the place of Mosby South MP Justin Tachenko, who stepped aside from the Foreign Affairs ministerial portfolio with immediate effect late yesterday afternoon. This followed intense public and international pressure following a TikTok video from his daughter Savannah Tachenko, which was circulated widely on social media. The minister's defense of his daughter drew further harsh criticisms from the public over the poor choice of words used to show his frustrations.
Prime Minister James Marape has announced that he will make sure that the preparation towards hosting the Prime Minister of India, the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Fiji and all other Pacific Island leaders will go ahead as planned. He said, and I quote, "I want to commend the Minister for putting the interest of the country ahead of his own. I also want to apologize to his family and especially his daughter, Savannah, for the traumatic experience over the last couple of days. No woman deserves to be treated the way Savannah was treated over the last few days." End quote. The Prime Minister also acknowledged that the Minister did what any father would do, but his responsibility as an elected leader and a state minister required that his conduct and words must remain exemplary and above board at all times. Prime Minister Marape thanked Minister Justin Tachenko for the preparation work done thus far and said he will ensure that all work is progressed with a multi-agency effort so when visitors come on shore beginning next week, the country can be proud. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Suspended former acting secretary for the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Dr. Francis Hualup-Momi, is calling on the National Executive Council to put an end to the leadership tussle between himself and acting secretary Father Yan Zuba.
Fronting up at the MTV studios at Garden City this afternoon was suspended former acting secretary for Dehurst, Dr. Francis Hualup-Momi. The former acting secretary responding to reports that he had been issued his notice of suspension yesterday by acting secretary for Dehurst, Father Yan Zuba.
There was a commotion yesterday between some of the staff, myself and Father Yan Zuba, when I was informed that I will be served a notice of suspension. If there is a gazette notice available at his disposal, we would like to see so that he must present it to me, including the staff of the Department of Higher Research, Science and Technology. So that gives him the legal standing to make further decisions in terms of suspension or issue warning.
According to Dr. Hualup-Momi, the position currently held by Father Zuba is not gazetted among other reasons, and this led to his decision on not accepting the suspension letter.
I refuse to accept the suspension on two grounds. Firstly is that there was no proper process under the Public Service General Orders to suspend me. And secondly is that Father Yan Zuba does not have any legal standing to suspend or to warn or to issue any instructions to any staff, because since his contract expired on the 16th of April, up until now, we have not cited any gazetted notice of his contract renewal and also his acting appointment.
Dr. Hualup Mami also said that Father Yan's decision to suspend him is highly suspicious and motivated to jeopardize his possible appointment to the Secretary's position. This has led to Dr. Hualup Mami calling on the NEC to finally put an end on the ongoing tussle.
As you all know, Father Yan does not have a legal standing. He came as a priest to work as a Catholic priest in Papua New Guinea. He does not hold a proper work permit. He holds a religious visa to practice religious activities in Papua New Guinea, and the law is very clear on that. He does not have a legal standing to be appointed to any of the public service senior positions. These positions are only reserved for Papua New Guineans, and it's very clear in the law.
The leadership tussle has led to division at Dehurst, with staff divided between Dr. Hualup Mami and Father Zuba. The former acting secretary is now calling on Father Jan Zuba to produce the gazettal notice issued by the NEC confirming his purported acting appointment so that it gives him powers to suspend and terminate. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
The local farmers and sellers in Port Moresby have lost hundreds of kina following a 3-week delay in transporting their fresh produce by Bismarck shipping from Lae. These local farmers and sellers told MTV News today that this is their only source of income and the delay has affected their daily living in the city.
More than 30 farmers and sellers in Port Moresby showed their frustration today, stating that they have shipped more than 35 containers containing cacao, potatoes, cabbage, carrots and other vegetables 3 weeks ago. However, this has not reached Port Moresby yet. They were instructed by the Bismarck Shipping Company that due to mechanical fault, the ship is still on the sea, and the farmers and sellers believe that all their fresh produce are rotten. This was explained by one of the buyers, Stephen Pat.
So plenty cost involved. Now, as tao kaya na come, we waited 2 weeks. City, we stop cost of living and go up. So we face heavy.
A mother from Western Highlands province, who is a seller at Gereu Market, raised her concern, stating that she is a breadwinner and this has caused so many struggles for her to provide for the children.
Legally one get to get a staff, private staff, and we bless a garam house, pay rent, give lunch money, all beginning this line. So now I'm taking a come in here to 3 weeks altogether and awesome.
Jackson Lass, who transported his fresh produce from Mount Hagen to Lae, then transported them from ship 3 weeks ago and was expecting them in a week. Unfortunately, he is still waiting.
Me no got money, but me asking more man got money loan. Me dinner loan like sim kam no me sibim na kam. Na kam loye na also me thinking long. By me salim sim money na sim golo plus again. Na me ba beg him this la money me team na me sim kam, but now me wait some go triple week altogether.
A Kaiba owner who also stated that this has affected his business.
So Kai am not come within 3 weeks. Kai problem is shut down. Na rent money to go on up. Now me sava now.
A truck owner who uses to transport goods from the wharf to the markets is also facing the same issue.
So this la 3 weeks now we plus have him. Kai no got na ship kam bagrablo. Solwara na mibla. All mama come complain le na me too me got legally consent to me lo. Car am also give service lo me now kega no got me no. She money too lo all kege. So mibla sa load na collusion time am also give money lo mibla na mibla sa benefit na staff.
Bag carrier from Central Province also shared the similar sentiments.
3 weeks number CPM delay o seme. Mibla samla mibla no work money mibla sakarim na kai kelen so.
We made an attempt to speak to the Bismarck Shipping Company, but were not able to give their comments. Esther Gane, National MTV News.
Mother's Day falls on the second Sunday of May every year. For this year, mothers will be celebrating their special day tomorrow. And as the nation gears up to surprise their moms with gifts and meals, EMTV News took the streets today to ask people what Mother's Day meant to them.
Mothers are very special people in any family. They are the managers of any household. They support, give advice, and provide comfort. This is Junlin Vateap from the Autonomous Region of Bougainville with her Mother's Day message to her mom.
To my mom, I know you'll always have my back, and for that, I'm thankful. Happy Mother's Day to you and to all the mothers around the country.
We also caught up with Naomi Morgan, and this is what she had to say.
I would like to give a shout out to all the mothers around the world. Happy Mother's Day to you all. You all are the best. You all are hardworking people who support your family tirelessly. And on this very day, we would like to wish you all mothers a happy Mother's Day to you all, especially to my mom, who is a hardworking person. Happy Mother's Day to you. You deserve it. Thank you for all the encouragements, and you're the best, and you deserve this day. Happy Mother's Day to you all again.
Hayden Pauly, a grade 12 student, took the opportunity to thank his mom for everything she has done for him and his siblings.
My mom's done a lot for me, and tomorrow is Mother's Day, and it's a special day for her, so at least, we can show her love, at least buy something, a gift for her. And we show love to our mom, especially the single mothers, the mothers in the rural areas, and also to our moms out there.
As families and friends throughout Papua New Guinea prepare to celebrate this special day tomorrow, let us all spare a thought on those that have lost their mothers, those whose mothers are in prison camps and hospitals, and in the most rural parts of the country.
Happy Mother's Day to all the hardworking mothers in PNG.
Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
As Papua New Guinea gets ready to celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow, the country's leading superannuation provider has announced a new initiative to benefit its female employees. From May 8, 2023, the fund is introducing the payment of superannuation on unpaid maternity for its female staffs, a first for the industry and for the country.
According to the NASFund CEO, Rajeev Sharma, as a responsible employer, NASFund is committed to promoting gender equality and bridging the gap that exists when the disparities faced by women at the point of retirement. He said, and I quote, "On average, for example, a female contributor may miss out on superannuation contributions of up to 500 kina due to unpaid maternity leave, thus then affects her final superannuation balance in the long run by as much as 2,895 kina at the age of 60, assuming a 5% annual return. This happens due to impact of cumulative interest. This is why continuing savings during early years of life is important." End quote. This new initiative ensures that all female employees of NASFund who take unpaid maternity leave will continue to receive their employer contributions during their absence from work, providing them with financial security during a crucial period in their lives and ensuring that they don't miss out on the benefits of superannuation. Mr. Sharma added that NASFund is proud to introduce this initiative on Mother's Day, which is a symbolic celebration of motherhood in line with its corporate values. NASFund operates as a responsible employer and recognizes the challenges that working mothers face and the impact it can have on their financial independence and security at retirement. This new initiative is part of NASFund's ongoing efforts to provide a healthy working environment for its staff who work as a team in delivering innovative and impactful services to its members. It demonstrates the organization's commitment to its members and the dedication to promoting gender equality and social responsibility. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break with more stories. Stay with us. You're watching National MTV News. Governor for Central Rufina Peter has appointed two of her joint provincial planning and budget priorities committee members during the committee's inaugural meeting recently held in Port Moresby. Appointed members of the committee were Provincial Administrator Francis Coaba and Provincial Finance Manager Wallace Imbal.
During the appointment of the Provincial Administrator Peter Coaba and Finance Manager Wallace Imbal under Central Province's Planning and Budget Priorities Committee, Governor Rufina Peter said these appointments and the roles they play is vital in terms of fair representation and distribution of project funds to all the districts in the Central Province. In congratulating the appointee committee members, Governor Peter urged them to deliver to the communities and districts in the Central Province, adding that the real needs of the people must be recognized and addressed well. Governor Peter also emphasized that a female representing Abao district has been appointed to the Planning and Budget Priorities Committee, so a fair representation is at the board and the people of the Central Province. Provincial Administrator Francis Coaba, as one of the appointees to the board, told the meeting that the provincial support grants come in two components. One is discretional component, which is about 250,000 kina per year, and the other is non-discretional, hence decisions and resolutions need to be passed first. The Central Province Budget and Planning Priorities Committee has a representative from the Hiri Koyari, Goilala, Rigo, Kairuku and Abao district who is a female. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
And moving to overseas news now, and Australian Foreign Minister Don Farrell holds talk with Chinese Foreign Minister in Beijing.
It follows Trade Minister Don Farrell's talks in Beijing with his Chinese counterpart on removing trade barriers. Mr Farrell is the first Australian Trade Minister to visit Beijing since 2019 after an easing of diplomatic tensions with the election of the Albanese government last year. China imposed restrictions on a range of Australian exports after the former Morrison government called for an international inquiry into the origins of COVID, triggering a backlash from Beijing. Mr Farrell says his talks with the Chinese government were pleasing, but he admits it will take time to restore diplomatic relations.
More work needs to be done. I always thought that we would have to continue to persist and to persevere to get these trade impediments removed. The trade impediments didn't occur overnight, and they're not going to be resolved overnight. My job is to keep the process going, to keep the pressure on to resolve it.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been granted bail and released from jail.
The Supreme Court granted him bail for 2 weeks, but at the same time, there's another order from Islamabad High Court that said he could not be arrested until the 15th of May. So that possibility also lies there. But effectively, what the question really is now, tomorrow elections in Punjab province were to be held, they won't be held. So what happens after that? I think from now until the 17th of May, there is going to be greater maneuvering, both on the part of the PTI, led by Imran Khan, but also PDM, that rules Pakistan at the moment. Of course, with the military and the judiciary in the background, in fact, more the military in the background and judiciary at the forefront. So it really depends upon how things move. There are people who are talking about the possibility of emergency being imposed in Pakistan, which might also change the whole scene in the way politics would be conducted. People have really been suffering for a long time, and they've always looked in case of Pakistan, but also in other developing countries, and I would say even the United States, someone who can provide a narrative for what is their problem, why it's happening, and how they can get over that. Imran Khan in Pakistan has really come up with a very good formula. He identifies the basic obstacles to ordinary people.
After 2 decades of power, Turkey president is battling for his political future in this weekend's election.
It's Turkey's Centennial. Turkish Republic will be 100 years old in end of October this year. That's symbolic. But apart from that, of course, it's going to be definitely a referendum about the nature of the administration. Following the referendum, which was a knife's edge referendum, again, 2017, Turkish the rule of Turkey, the administration, has changed nature. It became ultra or super presidential regime called presidential government administration, which, to simplify, is a one-man rule. Separation of powers vanished, rule of law collapsed, freedoms and rights have been weakened fundamentally, and of course, to add it to that, the huge economic crisis, systemic crisis, social crisis, unresolved problems which have been gnawing at Turkish Republic for 100 years, such as Kurdish issue or recognition or reconciliation with the Armenians, with the neighborhood problems, etc.
Charges were laid against a man for killing a 30-year-old man on a New York subway.
Now, there is bystander video of Mr. Penny, the 24-year-old, with Mr. Neely in a chokehold. He holds that chokehold for several minutes, and a couple of other passengers hold down Mr. Neely's arms. Mr. Neely was later found unresponsive. He died because of that chokehold. Now, it's not clear, and it's not on the video, what preceded Daniel Penny putting this man in a chokehold. Other passengers have said that while the homeless man was acting erratically and shouting and asking for food, there was no physical altercation between him and other passengers, including Mr. Penny. Now, it's taken 2 weeks for these charges to be brought. That sparked protests, but people asking if the races had been reversed, if a black man had placed a white man in a chokehold and that was on video, would it have taken this long for manslaughter charges to be brought? There's also been a wider discussion around how New York and indeed America in general treats its homeless and its mentally ill, how to go about dealing with people in public places. What Jordan Neely's lawyers said, well, don't kill them, don't take someone away because they're having a bad day.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Port Moresby Netball Association has commenced its season 3 weeks ago, and today saw its Week 4 matches competed at the Rita Flynn Netball Court in Port Moresby.
After 2 years of absence due to COVID-19, the Port Moresby Netball Association has resumed this season and should complete its Week 4 games this weekend. The competition is looking at 2 rounds of 14 games, where each team will compete in 7 matches per round. This was further detailed by Port Moresby Netball Association President Linda Ligo.
This is the first round. We have 2 rounds, so each teams, they play 7 games per round. So we have 14. They play 14 games per 7 games per round.
Ligo added that with these 14 weeks of regular games in place for the clubs, the competition is expected to head into its grand finals come August.
So we wind down around August, have our grand finals. And then
Right after the grand finals in August, the Port Moresby Netball Association, together with Motu Koita West, will prepare to stage the Netball National Championships tipped for September. The championships will see the final netball team to the 2023 Solomon Islands Pacific Games scouted after its completion. Lisa Puni, Chukai Sports.
While most competitions in the nation's capital are a few weeks into their season playoff, the Port Moresby Australian Football League saw half of its Game 5 matches competed today, with the rest set to be played tomorrow.
As set around for last weekend, 10 teams have fully registered and will be in action all throughout this season in the men's division, along with 6 teams in the women's division. POM AFL President Douglas Lai, who was present today at the Bissini AFL field, provided an update on the competition thus far.
Koboni Rules Football Club is the defending premises, and they're currently on 4th place on the ladder. The season started well. It's a lot of player movement has gone on from last season. So currently, Geraka Bombers has recruited very well. So they're actually leading the competition at the moment.
According to President Lai, the defending premiers, the Kobonis, are seated on the 4th spot of the competition ladder, with the Gereka Bombers currently topping the ladder.
With the men's competition, we've got about 10 teams that have been playing the senior grade and 10 teams that have been playing the reserve grade. So we're actually into Game 5 of Round 1. And for the women's comp as well, we're into the Game 5. We started off with 4 teams, but as at Game 4 last week, we ended up with 6 teams, which is finalized for the season. So we will have 6 teams in the women's competition and 10 teams in the men's competition for this season.
The undefeated team in the competition is the Dockers Club, and their next tussle will be against the defending premiers, the Kobonis, and they anticipate a win from the match to remain on par in the competition ladder. Lisa Puni, Chukai Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now. In AFL, it was the battle of the Cats as the Richmond Tigers defeated the reigning AFL premiers, the Geelong Cats, at the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Richmond caused a huge upset, beating the premiers Geelong by 24 points at the MCG. Dion Prestia, he scored in his 200th AFL match. The Cats were held 16-6-102 to the Tigers 11-12-78. Dustin Martin, he scored 4 goals. You can see him there. Trent Cotchin kicked 3. So a really good result for the Tigers, who win consecutive games for the first time in 2023 and ends the Cats' 5-game losing streak.
Wow, great. And that ends Chukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus. With you always.
The weather report for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City and Kerama, mostly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Daru and Alatau, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Popondetta, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. In the Momase region, Lay City, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Madang, partly cloudy with few evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Wewak and Vanimo, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, partly cloudy with few evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Kavian, Kokopora Bowl, Kimba and Buka, cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, Goroka and Kundiawa, cloudy periods with possible evening showers and thunderstorms. Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Saturday, the 13th of May 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.